Shalom, 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 my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Welcome. It's an honor, it's a privilege to come before you as always. I'm your brother Ananias.
Brother Ezekiel.
And we are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And as always, it's an honor, it's a privilege to come before you. But before we get started, we want to always give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the Son, who the world calls Christ in the Paleo Hebrew. But nonetheless, through his strength, sacrifice, and example, we are all able to be here today to be edified and uplifted in the spirit. So we appreciate everybody who's tuning in and those who will. You know what I'm saying? It's always an honor. I know I keep saying that, but it is just to be able to come before our brothers and sisters, to be able to give them something to learn from, to add to their life, to push on with. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you brothers and sisters in this truth who've been holding it down, you know, consistently enduring day in and day out. We know you be having ups and downs and rough weeks and rough days, but keep pushing through because we know what the end result is. Us getting the kingdom and coming back home, but most importantly, serving Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. But today's class is called As the Head Goes, So Does the Body. As the head goes, so does the body. All right. Now we all know this. We probably heard this before, maybe not. But the phrase actually goes into what you actually see in the physical. You got your head, that's connected to your body. Whatever the head says, that's where the body goes. Where the mind thinks, that's where the body goes. Just like in a household, you got a head. Wherever the head goes, that's where the body goes. Just like on a team, you got a coach. Whatever the coach teaches, that's where the team goes. Now, whether that team is successful depends on the head, you know. So as the head goes, so does the body. Just like us, as a body of people, as a nation of people, our head is Yahweh through Yahweh, or Yahweh through Yahweh, excuse me. That's our head. We are the body. But sometimes you get to a point in life where, well, I ain't gonna say you get to a point in life. In our lifetime, we have seen that somehow we have not followed the head. Because the head wants us to do a certain thing, but us as a body, we fail to do what's required when it comes to doing the commands or the instructions of the head. We as a body have failed to do so. Now the body out walking around trying to figure out what the hell going on. But, you know, this topic or this class is really directed more so at the men, even though anybody can get a message or get an understanding from it. But it's more so directed at the fellas, you know. All right. So if you the head and you've been in this truth for a minute and you have not increased, and I ain't talking about monetarily, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about increased in everything that you do in life. Because when you read the scriptures, you're supposed to live life more abundantly. That's what life is about. That's what this truth is about, to help us to live life in a better life, in a better light. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the book of John, chapter 10, verse 10, right quick, just to show you exactly what I mean, because we all know that we fighting against the woes or the wickedness of this world. But being in this truth, we're supposed to have an understanding now as to what's going on. So having that understanding versus not having it, we're supposed to be increasing in every aspect of our lives. And if we ain't, or if we're not increasing, then we need to check ourselves. And that's the whole purpose of this class today. So as heads, as the rulers or the kings of our households or our teams or as our nation, if we ain't increasing in these last days to where we need to be, hey, we need to check ourselves. If we still in the same level that we were in when we first came into this truth, we need to check ourselves. That means we ain't doing the work. That means we have accepted a title, but we ain't willing to put the work in. That's simply what that means. If we find out that we kings on this earth and we still moving like we were when we were in the world, hey, something wrong. If we ain't increased in everything that we have known or done in life, something is wrong. We need to check ourselves. Let's go to the book of John, chapter 10, verse 10.
The book of John, chapter 10, verse 10. The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly.
So the thief, he only comes for one reason, to steal, kill, and destroy. But Yahweh, our king, our Messiah, he came so that we can live life and live it more abundantly. So we actually come back into this truth and find out who we are and what we're supposed to be doing. Hey, we're supposed to be living life more abundantly. We're supposed to be having so much more knowledge than we had when we were in the world that it's unreal. That anybody that comes in contact with us that used to know us in the past time or the past life will say, well, damn, there's something going on in that person's life. They done increased. I can see it in their aura, in their mindset, in their speech, in the way they carry themselves. Why? Because he given us life to live more abundantly. Why? Because we understand truly who we are. Now we know we're the head. We got to carry ourselves as such. From now, let's go to the book of Joshua, chapter 7, verse 7. You know what I'm saying? Because we come to situations in life, you know, we what they call running the roadblocks or barricades, and we find ourselves struggling, trying to push forward. Roadblocks, barricades. That's the same thing Joshua came into on the way to the promised land. Now, let's see what happened and how did he handle the situation, or let's see how the Most High dealt with him in order to help him fix the situation. Let's go to the book of Joshua, chapter 7, verse 7, and we're going to read at the 13.
The book of
Joshua,
Joshua.
chapter.
Shalom, brother.
Shalom. Shalom. I get that, Josh.
All right.
Yep.
The book of Joshua. You got it.
You
You
got
got it.
I do. I got it. All right. The book of Joshua, chapter 7, verse 7.
Yeah, let's read through this quick because
Uh,
I got a couple precepts.
yes, sir. They take it to 13.
Yes, sir.
All right. And Joshua said, Alas, O Lord God, wherefore hast thou at all brought this people over Jordan to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us? Would to God we had been content and dwelt on the other side Jordan.
Now, at
O
this particular
Lord,
time, we basically facing another nation who basically had killed some of our brothers. You know what I'm saying? And as we journey into the promised land, we battle another nation, but we ain't losing nobody. So we come up against these people, and all of a sudden, some of our brothers start dying. So everybody in a panic mode. This ain't never happened before. They didn't hit a roadblock, a barricade. It's never happened before. Joshua going to the Most High. What's going on, Lord? Did you bring us out this far to be delivered into the hand of these people? Read on.
verse 8. O Lord, what shall I say when Israel turneth their backs before their enemies? For the Canaanite and all the inhabitants of the land shall hear of it, and shall environ us round, and cut off our name from the earth. And what wilt thou do unto thy great name? And the Lord said unto Joshua, Get thee up, wherefore liest thou thus upon thy face?
You see what the Lord said?
Israel has sinned.
Did y'all see what the Lord just said right there? We going through a situation, backs against the wall, don't know what to do. He's saying, what we gonna do, man? These people that surrounded us. When we start running from, or they cut us off or put us to death, your name gonna be put out the earth. The great name that you gave us. The Lord said, get thee up. Get up off your knee, get off your face, stand up. Wherefore liest thou upon thy face? Why are you down here on your face? Why are you on your knees right now? Why are you begging and pleading? Stand up. As the head goes, so does the body. If you start cowering, if you start getting weak, if you start doubting yourself, guess what else gonna happen with the rest of the body? They gonna do the same damn thing. You supposed to be the leader. I put you in charge. I gave you that responsibility. Get up and get up off your face. Read.
Verse 11. Israel has sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant which I commanded them. For they have even taken of the accursed thing, and have also stolen and disassembled also, and they have put it even among their own stuff. Therefore, the children of Israel could not stand before their enemies, but turned their backs before their enemies, because they were accursed. Neither will I be with you any more, except ye destroy the accursed from among you.
You see that? He said, Israel have sinned. He gave them the root of the cause right there. Why we hit a roadblock? Why we hit their barricade? Just like when we riding down the street, you got the police right there out of nowhere. You out doing something you ain't got no business. All of a sudden, it's a roadblock somewhere. You going through life, everything you pushing, you doing everything you think you're supposed to be doing. All of a sudden, you run into that roadblock. He said, Israel have sinned, for they have even taken the accursed thing. As a nation, we have taken on the traditions, the custom, the accursed things of this society. And we wonder why we can't get ahead, why we keep struggling day in and day out. We have picked up the accursed things of this society, of these other nations, and have also stolen and disassembled also. They have put it even among their own stuff. Everything that they have in this society, we striving to go get for some reason. We want what this society promotes. This society ain't got nothing for us. As we always state, this is not our resting place, just as the Bible states. This is a correctional facility. But for some odd reason, our people, our brothers, our sisters, we striving to go get the accursed things that reside in this kingdom. And we wonder why we can't push forward, why we can't grow, why we haven't increased, because we hanging on to the accursed things that we ain't got no business dealing with. Therefore, the children of Israel could not stand before their enemy. And we wonder why our enemies still trumping or walking all over us. Why we can't get past them, why we still dependent upon them. Because we still hanging on to the accursed thing. We still trying to celebrate birthday, still celebrating Christmas, still wearing pants as women. Men don't want to put the fringes on. We want to sometime with this and sometime with that. We still hanging on to the accursed things of society. We ashamed, we embarrassed. We got to build up as a nation of people. Stand up, like you told them. Get off your knees and stand up. We hanging on to the accursed things. He said, but turn their backs before their enemies because they were accursed. Neither will I be with you anymore, except, that's the key thing that he told them. All this is going on, but except ye destroy the accursed from among you. When you put off the ways of this world and say, the hell with it, I'm going to fight because I know what's at the end. Read verse 13, King.
Verse 13. Up, sanctify the people, and say, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, there is an accursed thing in the midst of thee, O Israel. Thou canst not stand before thine enemies, until you take away the accursed thing from among you.
You see, they had to sanctify the people, just like you read in John chapter 17, 14, I believe, paraphrasing, but he says, sanctify the people through thy truth. Give them truth, give them understanding. Let them know that they are not going to be able to stand before their enemies until they get rid of the accursed thing. Let's go to Hosea chapter 14, verse 1. As the head go, so does the body. If the head is scared, how can the body move? Situation get jammed or not jammed, get tough. The body looking at the head, what do we do? The head don't know what to do. Scared, shook, running into the wall. Running around like a chicken with a head cut off. Don't know what to do. But being in this truth, we supposed to be building so we know all things. He that feareth the Lord knoweth all things. Hosea 14 and 1.
Hosea 14 and 1.
Yes, sir.
The book of Hosea, chapter 14, verse 1. O Israel, return unto the Lord thy God, for thou hast fallen by thine iniquity.
Read it again.
O Israel, return unto the Lord thy God, for thou hast fallen by thine iniquity.
For we have fallen by our iniquity. That's how we fall. That's the accursed thing. We just read it. So we got to return unto the Lord. How do we do that? By turning back to keeping these commandments. Returning to him so he can do what? Let's go to Psalms 32 and 8. Because he the head, why are we returning to him? Why are we returning to him? Psalms 32 and 8.
Book of Psalms,
then,
chapter 32, verse 8. Ready?
Yeah.
Book of Psalms, chapter 32, verse 8. I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eye.
Ain't that what the head do? That's what the head's supposed to do. Be looking, seeing what's coming, understanding what's going, and lead the body in the right direction. That's why we got to come back to the Lord so he can instruct us and show us which way we're supposed to be moving as a body. I'm going to go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 3, verse 35. And somebody give me 2nd Ezra, chapter 14. All right, I'm gonna read this since I'm already here. Second Ezra chapter 3, verse 35, and it reads, or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Or what people have so kept thy commandments? Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen. So as a body, we must understand that we can't be out here trying to fight for the other nations because they don't know his name and they don't keep his precepts. His precepts and his name is only being found in Israel. And when you read the Bible, regardless how you feel about it, it's only talking to the nation of Israel. Because he's directing, trying to instruct us as a body how we supposed to be moving. But you got our brothers and sisters, a lot of them out trying to fight for the other nations. Makes no sense. Even though they show you how destructive they have been and continue to be towards your people, you still trying to fight for them. Crazy as hell. But nonetheless, let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 14, verse 13. He is our Father and ours alone.
Book of 2 Ezra, chapter 14, verse 13. Now, therefore, set thine house in order, and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption.
Read to 18.
Verse 14. Let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature.
So the Lord is telling us in 13 that once he starts to instruct us, he's going to order us or tell us to set our houses in order. Set our houses in order. We the head, we got to set the house in order. We got to set the tone. Whether we want to agree to it or not, the nation starts with the families. That's how a nation is built, through families. So as heads, as kings, we have to set our houses in order, according to thus saith the Lord. Damn how we feel, how the Lord say do it. He said, now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people, meaning the people in your house and the people in your nation. Set them in order. Comfort such of them that are as be in trouble and renounce corruption. Show them where they're going off. Show them the wickedness of this world and continue to stay on them with it. Regardless how people screw their face up and get mad about it, stay on them. That's your job. You the coach. You got to condition your own team. But we all, as head, we got to condition the team if we want to win. The family is only as strong as the head. And as the head goes, so does the body. So if the head ain't conditioning, ain't exercising, ain't working out, guess what? The body ain't going to do it either. And the body going to be just like the head. And if the head is like a damn bobblehead, hey, we ain't getting nowhere. As the head, we got to be strong in this thing. Verse 14.
Verse 14. Let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature.
Put off the mortal thoughts. Oh, I got to do this. I got to put that off. Your job now, as the head of your household, as the head of this nation, or your people, you got to build them up. Cast away the burdens of man. Yeah, we all know we got to go to work. The hell with work. Work was here before we got here. Work gonna be when we gone. But we got to do what? Build up our people. Cast away and let go of these damn mortal thoughts. That's a weak nature. The Lord say cast that away. How people view you, how they think of you. If you ain't getting enough sleep or you ain't got enough money, cast that away. You got a bigger mission ahead of you. Being in this truth, being a part of the nation of Israel and understanding truly who you are, you got a mission at stake. The Lord don't want to hear the excuses. We got to keep pushing and building and conditioning ourselves on a day-to-day basis. Read.
Verse 15. And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and has thee to flee from these times.
All the thoughts you got in your mind, hey, Pat, put that to the side. That should motivate you to want to get the hell out of here. It shouldn't give you more of an excuse to put off what you're supposed to be doing for the cares of this world. When you hate being here, do what you need to do so you can get the hell out of here. That is what the Lord is saying right there. Read on.
Verse 16. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter.
It's going to get worse. It ain't going to get better. being in this truth and knowing who we ought to know it ain't gonna get no better. We turn on the TVs, the news every day, and we see, damn, hey, the book is proving itself. The Lord is manifesting itself. He touching the earth. He letting you know what time it is. We ain't got time to be making excuses no more. Greater evils are coming. Read.
Verse 17. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age. So much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein.
He telling you, he's showing you what time it is. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna be press time for everybody. Read.
Verse 18. For the time is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand. For now has it the vision to come, which thou hast seen.
So he said, for truth is fled far away. We coming into this truth and having an understanding, we know that we've been lied to all our lives. And it said, and leasing, meaning lies, when you look it up, is hard at hand. It's lies everywhere you turn. It's hard even talking to your own people because they've been engulfed in nothing but lies all their life. They love lies. They've been raised in lies. They work for lies. Their history has been taught to them ain't nothing but lies. So lies are, what they say, hard at hand. It's hard for our people to even break that cycle. But us having this understanding with the Lord to open our eyes and remove them scales, hey, we ain't got time for no excuses. As the head goes, so to the body. We got to push harder. We got to raise up and lift up, you know. From there, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3. And then somebody give me John chapter 1, verse 1. Try to move.
John 1 and 1.
I need that 1 Corinthians 11 and 3 first. You know, so because the Lord is telling us to set our house in order, knowing what time it is, you got to know what the order is. The Bible breaks it down and lets you know what the order is. This world ain't going to tell you that. The Lord going to let you know these things. 1 Corinthians 11 and 3.
Book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 3.
Uh-huh.
All right. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamaziah, Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Hamaziah, Christ, is God.
You see that? So it just laid out what the order is. He's going to let you know once you come back from being wicked or being in this world, come back to remembering who you are as a nation of people. Now you got to set your house in order. You got to set up the standard in your household. In the gate, you got to set up the standard, the order. Yahweh, Shai, man, woman, kids. Yahweh, Shai, man, woman, kids. It's an order. We got to deal in that manner. You know what I'm saying? That's the order. That's the standard. Let's go to John chapter 1, verse 1 right quick.
Book of John, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
All right, read it as verse 3.
Verse 2. The same was in the beginning with God. Verse 3. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made.
This right here shows you that they're not the same. They are different. In the beginning, the Word, and the Word was with God. So you got the Word that was with the Most High. So they're not the same, but it's letting you know also the same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him. So Yahweh Shai made everything. But he was inspired. He was given instruction by the Heavenly Father, by his Father, Yahweh, to construct everything. They are not the same. We have to establish their order. They are not the same. It's an order in the household, though. All things were made by him, and with him, and without him, was not anything made that was made. So everything was made by Yahweh Shai. We have to understand these things, but they are not the same. They got the same mindset, just like we supposed to have the same mindset. They the head, we supposed to be connected to the head. But for some odd reason, we don't think that way. We got our brothers and sisters scattered around everywhere, and we got different doctrines, different understandings, different instructions everywhere. The body ain't functioning right. Something wrong. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21. And we're going to read that at 24.
All right. Book of 1 Peter.
Then somebody give me 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12.
Say we'll read it to how far, bro?
To 24, 21 to 24.
All right. Okay. The book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 21. All right. For even hereunto were ye called, because Amaziah also suffered for us, leaving us an example, that ye should follow his steps, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth, who, when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judges righteously, who his own self bare our sins in his own body on the tree, that we, being dead to sin, should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes ye were healed.
All right. So we brought this out to show you that Yahushua, Christ as you know it, he was brought here to be, one of his reasons for being or coming was to show us and be that example. He was left as an example for us to follow. Now, you hear people saying, well, we're Christian, we're Christ-like. No, you're not if you ain't keeping these commandments and you ain't got faith in your in the Most High. If you don't believe that he is so-called black man according to the Bible, you're not a Christian. If you don't follow his example by keeping these commandments and teaching, rebuking your people, hey, you're not Christ-like. You know? So that doctrine, that foolishness is out the window. He came for an example for us. He said, who did no sin. So today you got people walking around saying, hey, we ain't got to keep the law. He nailed it to the cross and he was our Passover, all this foolishness. Were they not keeping Passover way before he hit the scene? Why would they stop? He was celebrating it with them. Why would they stop all of a sudden? Keeping the commandments, he died for our sin, for the remission of our sin. Our people got it twisted thinking we ain't got to keep the commandments no more. You wicked as hell. Who did no sin? That's the example. We're not supposed, his example is to not break the commandment, so we're supposed to be following in his footsteps. Neither was guile found in his mouth, no trickery, no lies, no deceit found in his mouth. Who was then reviled not again. They arguing with him. He ain't arguing with nobody. He know who he is and what's going on. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously. He didn't threaten the people. He committed himself to who? To Yahweh, who would judge righteously. Who his own self bare our sins, meaning the nation of Israel, the house of Israel, in his own body on the tree, that we, being dead to sins, meaning dead to sins, you see that, should live unto righteousness. What's righteousness? Keeping the commandments. By whose stripes ye were healed. We were healed. Seeing that example, shown that example. Now we got something to model after. But a lot of our people still reject that even unto this day. From there, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12.
Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12.
Uh-huh. We're going to read that to 15.
Okay. For as the body is one and have many members, and all the members of the one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ. Verse 13. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into the one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles, whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one spirit. Verse 14. For the body is not one member, but many. Verse 15. If the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? Verse 16.
That's it.
Okay.
So it's showing us right there that we are one body with Yahweh Shai. As the mind, as he is the mind that's leading us to Yahweh, instructing us in righteousness on how to get to the Father. You know what I'm saying? One body. But we're supposed to be connected to the head. How we gonna get to the head if we ain't listening to what the head telling us to do? To get there. How we gonna get to the Father? Without that, we disconnected. Disconnected. Let's go to Psalms 81 and 11. We are one body of people. Even though we got many functions, we are one body, one people. Supposed to be moving in one spirit. Keeping these commandments and having the faith. But once again, we got so many different doctrines misleading our people is unreal. As the head go, so does the body. But right now, as a body, a lot of us, and we ain't connected. We ain't connected to the head. The body ain't functioning right. You know?
The book of
Psalm
80,
81 and 11, and we're going to read that at 15.
All right. The book of Psalms, chapter 81, verse 11. But my people would not hearken to my voice. Okay. And Israel would none of me. So I gave them up unto their own hearts. Slacking. So I gave them up unto their own hearts' lust, and they walked in their own counsel. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my way. I should soon have subdued their enemies and turned my hand against their adversaries. The haters of the Lord should have submitted themselves unto him, but their time should have endured forever.
You see that? That's what would have happened if we would have stayed connected to the head. Our enemies would have never rose up and had any opportunity to try to take us down. He would have subdued our enemies, our adversaries, anybody who thought to come up against us. He would have subdued them. But what did we do? We went after our own lust, walked after our own counsel. How the hell the body gonna move without the head? That's off. It's just like one of them damn horror movies. Or what was that? The Headless Hunter or something like that. I forgot the name of it. The damn movie back in the day. You had the headless guy on a horse holding his head up.
Head the horse.
Yeah. Riding around on a damn horse.
Hey, but also it's just like if you ever watch a movie like the Flying Guillotine or something like that.
I ain't never seen it, but let's go to Isaiah chapter 59, verse 1. Isaiah chapter 59, verse 1. Once again, this class is called As the Head Goes, So Does the Body. Isaiah chapter 59, verse 1, and we're going to read that to 6.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 59, verse 1. Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ear.
Read that, brother. He done froze.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 59, verse 1 through 6. Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear. But your iniquities have separated between you and your God, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear. For your hands are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies. Your tongue hath muttered perverseness. None calleth for justice, nor any pleadeth for truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. They hatch cockroaches' eggs and weave the spider's web. He that eateth of their eggs dieth, and that which is crushed breaketh out into a viper. Their webs shall not become garments, neither shall they cover themselves with their works. Their works are works of iniquity, and the acts of violence is in their hands.
All right. So what we read right there is showing you how we have been disconnected from our head, where we went astray, went out trying to find and do our own thing. The Lord gave us up to our own lust because we wanted to hearken to our own counsel. Now we have been disconnected because of our iniquities, because of our sins. For our hands are defiled with blood, fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies. Your tongues have muttered perverseness. None calleth for justice. None pleadeth for truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. That's what our people are doing for the most part. But us as the heads, we know better. We're supposed to be doing better. You know what I'm saying? And right now, let me see if it's on the screen. All right. Come on now. Bear with me. All right. I just want to pull this quick article out. It's called Out of the Body, Out of Focus, the disconnect between the mind and the body. Scroll down right quick. I'm not going to read this whole article. I've got a section down here that's highlighted. But it says, from a neuroscience perspective, research points to the brain's fear response and emotion processing centers as the primary cause. The lack of signals being sent and relayed to the other brain regions prevent the individual from being able to comprehend what is actually going on. So when we disconnected from the body, from the mind, from the head, we are no longer receiving those signals. Therefore, as an individual body, we cannot comprehend what's actually going on. And you can see that plain as day. It's clear as day. Because we have been disconnected from the head, we can't see what's going on. We don't understand. This is neuroscience. This is what you can pull out of science in the world to show you what's going on in the spiritual world. Because we have been disconnected from the head, the body don't have nothing looking out. The signals ain't being sent. We can't comprehend what is actually going on, what's actually happening. That's what you call mind and body disconnect. That's what's going on with us as a nation of people. From there, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43. Shalom, King.
Oh, bro.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 43. And then somebody give me Isaiah chapter 30.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
All right. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
Read on. Verse 44.
He shall lend to thee and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
So now that we have been disconnected from our father, from our head, now we realize that the stranger is going to become the head, and we're going to start following him. He going to become the head, and we going to become the tail. Now, if you pay attention to anything in life, whether being in the spiritual aspect or looking in the physical, wherever the head is, the tail got to follow. Wherever the head is, the tail got to follow. You look at a dog, if he heading that way, the tail got to follow. A snake, tail got to follow. We being on the bottom of society, we being the tail, we follow wherever the head go at all times. He gonna become the head, we gonna become the tail. Why? Because we have disconnected from our head. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. We're gonna read that to 3. So we stuck right now in these curses, following behind our enemy, the strangers, while they leading us around. Instead of following and being led and being instructed by the Heavenly Father, Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, we being led by the enemy, whom we despise, but for some odd reason, we trying our damnedest to live and be just like. Makes no sense. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1.
Book of Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down unto Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion.
You see that? That's what's going on right now. We, for lack of a better word, we have sought after our enemies. Now we seek their wisdom to be strengthened, but we are made weak at the same time, if that makes any sense. We as a nation, we seek the wisdom of our enemies to try to make ourselves strong, but at the same time making ourselves weak. That's what's going on right now, because we are disconnected from our head and being connected to the head of a stranger. Now we making ourselves weak, trying to follow their example, trying to learn their wisdom. They got us growing up in a school system, learning about them. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Everything they teaching us is lies anyway. But we learning from them, trying to make ourselves strong, but it's making us weak. You know? What it say? We have I read 30 and 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me. We ain't looking for the Lord to give us understanding. We looking everywhere else. We reading they books, quoting they quotes. We ain't quoting no precepts as a body, as a nation. We quoting damn quotes of Benjamin Franklin, Dale Carnegie, damn George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. We ain't got no precepts of the Lord. We only precept we know of the Lord are what the enemy tell us. That's why all of our people walking around talking about John 3:16. John 3:16. It said, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. We go to them and enjoy their wisdom because they wisdom say, hey, you can do what the hell you want to do. So in that, we add sin on top of sin. Nah, that's done away with. You ain't got to keep Passover. You can celebrate Christmas now. Where the hell he told us to do that at? Since you saying the Passover, he was our Passover, where he tell us to celebrate Christmas at? Where he tell us to celebrate a birthday at? 4th of July at? He didn't tell us to do these things. Verse 2, it said that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. When you read the scriptures, it tells you that this place or this world is spiritually Babylon and spiritually Sodom and Egypt. You got the LGBTQ running rampant at an all-time high, and you still got us. We've been in slavery since we got over here. Spiritually, Egypt and Sodom. That's where Egypt is. Slavery. We running and trying to strengthen ourselves in this wicked kingdom, the influence of Babylon the Great. It says, therefore, in verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame. We trying to build ourselves up here. That's going to be our shame, our ruin. We rejecting the Lord, but trying to build ourselves up in Pharaoh and his way of thinking. Trying to build ourselves up to be like him. That's going to be our shame, our downfall. And it said, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion. Now our people don't know what the hell to believe in. They want to be Egyptologists, more science, Muslims, Seventh-day Adventists, Catholic, Presbyterian, Jewish. They want to be everything but who they were created to be, because they take heed or they take refuge in what? Lies. In Egypt, in Pharaoh, trying to build themselves up and strengthen themselves up, and Pharaoh or Egypt's wisdom. We taking covering from another nation that can't help us. From there, let's go to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. What's going on? Go ahead, King.
I bet, King. I just wanted to make one comment too, like you saying, how we using another people. We let them lead us, and that's not our people. Because I was thinking about the brother Amar Stoudemire, how he came out this week. Well, he came out, I think it was last week, and asking us to you black folks should be ashamed for not supporting Israel, the Israelis, And I thought about it. I said, man, I mean, he got more love for the other nations. Well, we all thought about it. He got more love for the other nation than he got for his own people.
Right.
And which is a shame, man, because they did nothing for us. So he been led, he's a grown man and he's a knowledgeable brother about truth and certain things, but he's been led by another nation of people to see about their affairs instead of the affairs of his own people.
Yes.
So that's our people going astray, and the body going with the head, man, going with the enemies, man. That's crazy.
That's a great point.
Hey, and those people, those Israelis that's over there, they treat the black Israelites over there like crap.
Right.
Con.
Treat them like crap.
Like why we want to be in the land, which is our land? I get it. Brothers going back and try to reclaim it, but at the same time, another people is their leaders over there. Saying you got the Gentiles, they're ruling that land. So now you've been led into a agenda of the Edomites, of the other nations, and not your own guys. So why would you go into there expecting anything else? So we've been led by the wrong people. So as soon as they do something, we want to follow them, and then the brothers over there, Salakia found, but the brothers over there, when they become citizens, everyone have to join into the Israeli military.
Huh?
I think all males have to automatically join in the military for so many years. I think 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. So you don't even have an option over there. So
wow.
Yeah, man. We've been led into into the Gentiles agenda, man. It's crazy.
And if you have dual citizenship, if you got dual citizenship, like with America and with Israel, if you over in America, they still can draft you to the Israeli army from here. I saw where a bunch of Israelis had to leave here and head back to Israel to go fight.
Wow.
Yeah, they had to leave. That's crazy, bro.
That just goes to show you how foolish this world is. But nonetheless, being the heads that we are supposed to be, we got to stand up in our position. All right. So we're going back to dealing with how we got to stand up and lead. And it starts with the men accepting their role and their responsibilities and holding it down, knowing their role and their spouse's role. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. And we're going to read that to 24. You know what? Before we do that, go ahead, read that. Read that.
The book of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband as unto the Lord. Verse 23. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Verse 24. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
You see that? That's order right there. Now we can continue to read on, and it's saying, husbands, love your wives and whatnot, just like Christ loved the church. That's commanded. But in order to be the head of the household, you have to know your role first. And you got to know that the woman that you choose to be with, she's supposed to submit to you. It ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It ain't because you in this side of the world or things ain't like they used to be. For a smooth household, not a smooth household, but for a righteous household to be ran, everything got to be in order. When you read 1 Corinthians 14:4, they say, do all things decently and in order. This is part of the order. Men, we have to get back in order and back in our position because we didn't fail down. We have been disconnected from being the head. Now, how is that? We as a nation of people, we disconnected ourselves from the head and went astray. Now, because we following behind the enemy, we have been disconnected. Now everything is upside down and the body walking on top of the head because we don't want to be men no more. We have been disconnected from our position where we're supposed to be, you know? And because these things don't happen, it's hell in the households. It says in verse 22, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife. It ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. We already established the order earlier in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church. And he is the savior of the body. But today, this society teaches we're all equal. You can do whatever. The woman is on top, she the head. And even the stats prove otherwise. We'll get into that in a minute, but a lot of us living by that happy wife or happy wife, happy life mindset. Let me show something right quick. If I can pull it up. Yeah. This is the mindset that a lot of our people living by. Who have we been taught this by? The same ones who took us into captivity. Happy wife, happy life. Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is the mindset that we have learned from dealing with our enemies. Because our enemy is actually weak as hell. They submit to everybody. Even though they got the number one military and this and that, they submit to their woman at home. And they have taught us to do the same thing, being disconnected. We out saying the hell with keeping the commandments, we gonna follow their ways, being made strong in their traditions, their customs that don't have no truth behind it, no history. We just doing it blindly. Striving to do it the best. We gonna outdo Esau. We gonna outdo the other nations. When it comes to celebrating something ain't got nothing to do with us. We gonna go all out. Thanksgiving, we have no history behind it. Our people don't know what we doing. We just following blindly. Christmas, putting up these trees. We go get the biggest tree, the shiniest tree, trying to be just like the other nations. And then they living with, hey, you heard what she said. She's the boss. The man been made to look weak as hell. He's been removed from being the head. You can see that in TV and in the movies. The man has been removed from being strong, a protective figure, a smart individual, to being a damn idiot. When you watch these TV shows, when you see it, even in real life. I mean, you walk into your grocery stores, you walk into your Walmarts, you see it. Majority of our brothers, I ain't gonna say majority, a nice percentage of our brothers is damn effeminate. You know what I'm saying? We all out of order. Brothers don't even want to speak to each other. That damn the sisters out of order. I mean, they 300-400 pounds. They don't give a damn. All of them got damn wigs and weaves on. 90% of them. Why? Everybody lost, disconnected. We have no idea what we are doing. I never would have thought 20 years ago that if I walked in the store today, 90% of our women gonna have a damn wig and weave on, or that I would be able to turn on the TV and see a man putting a damn some weave on his damn head to get some waves. I would have never dreamed I would be seeing this mess, or that you got homosexuality running rampant at an all-time high like it is. Well, men is allowed to walk around with no fear of consequence. They walking around in dresses with weave down to their ankles, with more glitz and glamour on than the women do. I would have never dreamed and thought that women would be walking around with bald heads, sagging their pants with tattoos all over their face, saying, "What up, Nick?" I would have never thought I would have seen these things. But because we as men, we ain't standing up, we being dormant, we saying everybody can do whatever they want to do, long as it don't affect my pockets. I'm good with it.
Hey,
and
brother.
We being weak, so is the body. Go ahead, King.
Hey, brother, and some of these jobs, it done got to the point where straight people are getting discriminated against. Seriously.
Damn.
Straight people getting discriminated against.
Wow. Unbelievable. But this is the society that we live in. And how is it like this? Because we as men, as the head, have failed. We were in charge of leading the body, leading everything. Yeah, now the woman is running things, which it should not be. But because of our lack of leadership, now they in control. Now it's hard for us. I ain't gonna say it's hard, but a lot of men don't want to stand up. They don't know how to stand up. That's the problem. And that's what we're trying to do and aim to show our people how we get back to where we're supposed to be. The Bible telling us that the wife's supposed to submit to the husband. First off, he got to know the role of a husband. Hold that thing dearly. He got to, I ain't going to say take pride, but be passionate about his role and understanding it. Instead of following the ways of this world and what he see on TV, thinking just paying the bills is going to get it done. That ain't it. It takes more than just paying a bill to raise a household or raise a nation. That's part of Esau's plan to keep you from teaching and raising your family up. Knowing these things, we need to be going another route to handle business. Paying bills ain't going to change nothing. You can pay bills and be ahead of your bills. You can be months ahead of your bill. But if we still following, I got to get this money to pay this bill, besides teaching and raising up my people or my family, hey, we ain't going to never get nowhere. We got to put sacrifice in where it need to be. You know what I'm saying? From there, let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 16. Because when it say, why I'm supposed to submit to your husband, this was ordained from the beginning. But we don't want to go back to the beginning and see the facts. We want to just keep moving in what it is now, knowing damn well ain't nothing going to change. So we got to go back to the beginning. Genesis, chapter 3, verse 16. Just to prove this right quick.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, and verse 16. Unto the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire should be to thy husband.
And thy desire, meaning your wants, your cares, shall be to thy husband. And what?
And he shall rule over thee.
You see that? That was instruction from the head. That was given in the beginning. Why don't we want to follow that? When we don't follow this is what you see in society going on right now. Prisons packed because no fathers in the house. People committing suicide at an all-time high because ain't no father in the house. Ain't no head in the house. This is what's happening when we don't follow the commandments. The instruction given from the head. Thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Man, husband, head of the household, you got to realize this, and you got to stand on that firmly. You can't be with the, I'm just gonna, whatever she says, she's the boss. That means you still in that effeminate stage or mindset. You got to stand up and run your house, run your team in order for us to build as a nation. All right. From there, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11, and we're going to go to verse 7 and read it 9. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 7.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, and verse 7. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God. But the woman is the glory of the man.
But what?
But the woman is the glory of the man.
Read on.
For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man.
Read that again, brother.
For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man.
Now, how is it in this society we got that flip side up or upside down? Well, how you know God ain't a he? He could be a she. Ain't that what they had in Poetic Justice? Back in the 90s, starting that narrative saying God could be a woman. They doing that today. The women walking around with the yoga mats and doing all this and hugging trees and all that. They are goddesses of the universe. The man sitting back like, okay, I don't want to argue. I don't want that smoke. I don't want to deal with it. So they just let them do whatever the hell they want to. Men, you got to take back your responsibilities and lead and stop being a damn follower saying she's the boss because you living in her house. Man up and get your own. It is what it is. The Lord ain't never told you to go do that. Everything out of order because we don't want to stand up and handle business. If we got to be uncomfortable in a discomfort position for a while to get in a position we supposed to be in, so be it. But stop moving out of order and things gonna get in order. That makes no sense. Read on.
Verse 8. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
That right there is something that a lot of our brothers have to instill and beat in their own head and realize. Instead of trying to give the world to the woman which she don't want the world, she just wants you to lead her in this world. Stop trying to give her the world and man up and lead her in this world. And realize that you have to hold her to that standard. Men have to stand up and hold their women to that standard, letting them know who was created for who. Not that they are no good or they ain't worthy or nothing. Hey, just understanding, hey, this is the order of things, how it's supposed to be. A lot of men don't want their responsibility. That's why the women say, if you don't want to lead, damn it, I'm going to step up and lead. You don't want to handle business, I'll do it. Now you got the man sitting at home say he want to be a stay-at-home dad. The hell is this? Or he calling himself a pimp because he's sitting back on the couch flicking his nails while the women go out to work for him. He's saying that's being a pimp, a player. Nah, you off for that. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it, brother.
Bring it up.
Job chapter 38 and verse 3. Gird up now thy lions like a man, for I was the man of thee, and answer thou me.
Lord said, gird up thy loins. Put the pants on. Pull them up, brother. Stop wearing the panties. Take off the high heels, brother. Put the wig, give it back. Nah, throw that shit in the garbage. Excuse my language. Put it in the garbage. Don't even let your woman wear that. Put it in the garbage. Put your pants back on and stand up so the Lord can advise thee. But our brothers these days, you see what's going on. They putting the wigs on, the high heel, the long nails, the eyelashes. They doing it all. They putting the wigs and weave in. Mm-hmm. They talking more feminine than the women. It's crazy as hell, man. All right. So from there, I'm going to show you this video because it's important for our brothers and sisters to know their worth. Know your worth. All right. See if that's on the screen. All right.
Let us play with him, and I don't like that. Me personally, I don't like that, nigga. I need you to come around not knowing shit.
Listen to what she say.
I'm gonna let you men in on a little secret, ladies. Don't kill me for this, but women hate for a man to know his worth. I said it, yeah. We don't like that shit. Nigga come around thinking he know his worth. Oh, he too good for this, he too good for that. A man that know his worth ain't gonna let us play with him, and I don't like that.
You hear that? If a man know his worth, they don't like that these days. They want to be able to run over, man, tell them what they is and what they ain't gonna do. That's backwards. That's out of order.
Me personally, I don't like that, nigga. I need you to come around not knowing shit.
She won't come around when you don't know nothing, so she can't tell you nothing, or you can't tell her nothing because you don't know nothing. Mm-hmm. You submissive as hell. Listen to that.
Let you men in on a little secret, ladies. Don't kill me for this, but women hate for a man to know his worth. I said it, yeah. We don't like that shit. Nigga come around thinking he know his worth. Oh, he too good for this, he too good for that. A man that know his worth ain't gonna let us play with him, and I don't like that. Me personally, I don't like that, nigga. I need you to come around not knowing shit.
It's sad, but that's how it is. And she put it out there raw, just like that. For a man to know his worth and to know he ain't going for the BS. Hey, a lot of sisters don't like that. Hell, when you stand up in your true role, your enemy don't like that.
That's right.
But they got to respect it. That's why we got to come put, like the brother brought out in Job, you got to gird up them loins. You know what I'm saying? To get that level of respect you're supposed to have. All right, let me get matter of fact, I got another article right quick. Which one is it? Urban Institute. All right.
Yeah, man, that's if I may say, the sister brought a heavy point right there, because that's in today's society. Modern society taught the man just to follow the woman, follow her to church, follow her to the store, let her control all the bills, which is cool for the sister to have some type of say so on that end. But when they come down to just leading, they have taught us, especially the black men, go, you want your woman, go to the church and find one, because that's where they're going to be at. Then she going to lead you to God, she going to lead you to Jesus. And a lot of brothers right now, I know I've been going to church for years. Well, I ain't been going to church for years, but now I think the Lord repented, came out that thing. But coming up, his brothers, deacons in the church who've been there since I was a kid, they still there and still led by their wives. So they wives, the ministers and the pastors and reverends of the church. I'm like, come on, man, ridiculous. How you gonna let your wife, teach you about the word, man? You're supposed to be the other way around. But yeah, you gotta know your worth, brothers. You gotta know your worth. Sister had a point there.
That's right.
Want me to read that for you?
Yeah.
All
right.
It says more.
This article right here is going into show us how things have flipped upside down into where the woman is now ruling in the ruling seat. She the head now. Check out the title of this. Read that, bro.
God. It says more women have become homeowners and heads of household. Could the pandemic undo that progress?
So we're gonna see in this article that more women have become heads of household. All right. Can you read it? Let me see. Let me blow it up some more. All right.
Thank you, King. It says, over the past 30 years, women have increased their presence in the housing market, with the home ownership rate of households led by women raising, while the home ownership rate of households led by men fall. This reflects two factors. Today, more women are head of household, and women have reached higher education and income levels, which can put home ownership, Salakia, into reach. What do the data reveal about women growing presence in the housing market, and what are the implications?
You see that? So over the past 30 years in the housing market, you got everything flipping upside down. It used to be the men was the breadwinners. They were the head of household, be responsible for bringing in everything and supporting the household. Now everything then flipped. Now the woman is in charge. She the head of household. All right. And that's in the last 30 years. 30 years. All right.
Con,
Yeah, read it.
con. Half of all households are now headed by women. 30 years ago, in married heterosexual households, a man partner was generally the main breadwinner and considered the household head. And it says, God, it says from 19, well, no, I'm sorry, King.
Started over
Over
the
the
past 30 years.
Slovakia, over the past 30 years, the marriage rate has declined, and more single women are household heads. From 1990 to 2019, the share of households headed by single women increased it from 17.6% to 22.6%.
All right. Read this last article right here. Last paragraph.
Con. Even among married two honor, two earner households, it is increasingly common to see women as the head. Among married households, the share of women heads of household increased it 24.3 percentage points from 21.8% in 1990 to 46.1% in 2019.
You see that? It went from 20.8 in 1990 to 46.1. That's damn near double. Well, it is. It's more than double. As the breadwinner, it says that the marriage rate has declined, and even in a married couple or a married household with two earners in there, the woman is still increasing or making more money than the man.
Mm.
That has increased dramatically since the 90s up until now, or the 2019. It said also among married households, black households had the highest share of women-headed households. That ought to show you something. Because us men don't want to stand up and do what we are supposed to be doing. The woman said, "The hell with it. I'm gonna stand up and do it." But because she took that step, everything is out of order. She took the step forward, and the man took the back seat. He took a step backwards. That's out of order. He went from being the head to being under the body. The stats, or as they say in the world, the numbers don't lie. The scriptures point to that. You can read that in the curses, Deuteronomy 28:54 and Deuteronomy 28:56. It explains it and shows it clear as day. These are just the facts that go along with it. You know? From there, let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 16. I mean, 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17.
Six and 17.
Yes, sir.
All right. The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. But he that is joined unto the Lord is
2
one.
Corinthians.
Oh, my bad. I went to first. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
You see that? The Lord is telling us to come out of the influence of Babylon, come out of the ways of this world. That ain't how it's supposed to be. Come out from among them and be ye separate. Stop trying to be like them, trying to assimilate. Stop trying to be like them and be with them, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing. Meaning they doctrines, meaning you ain't got to keep the commandment. That's an unclean thing. To say that you can eat whatever you want to eat, that's an unclean thing. To celebrate pagan holidays, that's an unclean thing. For a man to be able to marry another man, that's unclean. For a woman to lay down with another woman and be married, that's an unclean thing.
Right.
The Lord said, leave off from these things and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive thee or receive you. That's how we got to be reconnected to the Father. First and foremost, by cutting off the ways of this world. Let's go to Sirach chapter 10, verse 12. Sirach chapter 10, verse 12. And then let me get Luke chapter 14 and 28.
The book of Sirach, chapter 10 and verse 12. The beginning of pride is when one departeth from God, and his heart is turned away from his maker.
So our pride can turn us away from our maker. Pride. When you read in the scriptures, pride is an abomination to the Lord. He hates pride. He always telling us to be humble, to be meek. But when we get that prideful spirit about it, hey, now we turning away from the Lord. Oh, I ain't got to do that. I'm above that. Oh, I already did that before. Or that don't mean that ain't dealing with me. Hey, pride turn us away from our maker. We got to turn back to the Lord. Pride and stubbornness has turned us away from the Father, from the head. Let's go to Luke chapter 14, verse 28.
Book of Luke chapter 14, verse 28.
Now, this is the mindset that we are supposed to be moving in before we do anything as the head. Knowing who we are in this truth, in this understanding, we supposed to do this what we are about to read. Go ahead.
For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first, and cutteth the coast, and counteth the coast,
The cost.
whether he have sufficient to finish it.
Keep reading to 30.
Okay, verse 29. Lest happily after, and he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold, it began to mock him. Verse 30, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. Verse 31, or what king going to make war against another king sitteth not down first, and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000. Verse 32, or else.
That's it.
Okay.
So what I wanted to get out of that was the fact that as a head, as a man, before we do anything, before we decide to get married, before we decide to start a business, before we decide to do anything in life, we got to sit down and count the cost. Excuse me. Verse 28, it says, for which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and count the cost, whether he has sufficient to finish it, whether you got the know-how to finish it, the stamina to finish it, the materials, the workers. You got to sit down and count the cost before you do anything. Less happily, after he have laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, and all that behold it began to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. So in anything in life, as men, as the head of the household, we got to count the cost. We can't just go in things half-heartedly or go in things emotionally. We got to sit down and count the cost. Is the move that I'm trying to make really beneficial for me or the body or my family? The things that I'm trying to do, are they really beneficial? The things that I'm putting my energy and my passion toward, are these things really beneficial? If I start this, am I going to be able to finish? Do I have the stamina, the conditioning to stay on this if this is what I'm going after? Or am I going to be emotional and get caught up in something? Am I going to do like I was doing in the world and get started on something and just quit? And then everybody who see me trying to make change, they're going to see, look at him. He started off good, but look at him now. He right back in the world. He just like good, man. Hey, you ain't got time for that, man. You know, I done seen brothers thinking they were strong. They said you got to do this, got to do that. They right back in the world with us. They couldn't cut the mustard. So they right back in the world. So why even waste your time with that, brother and sister? Just stay out here clubbing and thugging with me. Pulling it up, smoking it up. Keep doing that with me. Live that YOLO spirit. That's what's going on. But what we moving into now is how when we don't fulfill our role, because it ain't just being a husband, it's being a father as well. We as head, it ain't just paying bills, it's being a father as well. Because when you get older, and when a child grows older, they ain't gonna be looking back at how many bills you paid. They're not gonna look at that. When they reminiscing, when they get grown or raising their own family, when they reminiscing about what their parents did, they gonna be reminiscing on what their father or their mother taught them, or what they did with them. They ain't gonna be reminiscing about, oh well, he paid the bills. They don't give a damn about that. But what we're going to do now is look at this article that goes into the father's impact being the head on child development. All right. Let's see. Is it on the screen? All right. It's my read. Let me see. We got 10 facts about father engagement. Can anybody read that?
God. 10 facts about father engagement. Fathers and infants can be equally as attached as mothers and infants. When both parents are involved with the child, infants are attached to both parents from the beginning of life.
Now, this article is going into just men as fathers, period. It ain't even going into just the Israelite. It's going into men, period. All right. Read 2.
Verse 2. Father's involvement is related to positive child health outcomes in infants, such as improved weight gain in preterm infants and improved breastfeeding rates.
So the father being involved, it's going to improve the health outcome of the child. Go ahead. Verse 3. Number 3.
Go on. Number 3. Father involvement using authoritative parenting, loving and with clear boundaries and expectations leads to better emotional, academic, social, and behavior outcomes for children.
You see that? By the father stepping up and being that authoritative parent with clear boundaries and expectation leads to better emotional, academic, social, and behavioral outcome for the child. Read 4.
4. Children who feel a closeness to their father are twice as likely as those who do not to enter college or find stable employment after high school. 75% less likely to have a teen birth. 80% less likely to spend time in jail. and half as likely to experience multiple depression symptoms.
So when the father is actually in the picture, leading, being the head like he's supposed to, look at all the benefits. Look at that. The child succeeds, twice as likely to go to college, to find stable employment after high school, 75% less likely for that child to have a teen birth, 80% less likely to spend time in jail, and half as likely to experience multiple depression symptoms. All because the head is standing up doing what he's supposed to. When the head is strong, the body is strong. As the head goes, so does the body. 5.
5. Fathers occupy a critical role in child development. Father's absence hinders development from early infancy through childhood and into adulthood. The psychological harm of their father's absence experienced during childhood presents throughout the life course.
So we see that the father occupies a critical role in child development. It hinders the development. It hinders the building. That's what the enemy is trying to do. Hinder the building. You read that throughout the scriptures. Constantly. They are always trying to hinder our building. So the main thing they figured out was, the main way we're going to keep them from building, becoming a strong nation, is to take the father, to take the head out of the house. You take the head out, the body going to fall. Hey, that's key even when you in boxing. You can have a strong jaw, but if you take the body out, the head going to fall. Or if you take the head out, the body going to fall. Either way, chop the tree. Take the head out, the body going to fall. All right. Read 6.
6. The quality of life, the quality of the father-child relationship matters more than the specific amount of hours spent together. Non-resident fathers can have positive effects on children's social and emotional well-being, as well as academic achievement and behavior adjustment.
You see that? Just the relationship matters more than the hours spent together. Because you could be out, you know what I'm saying, running businesses and doing this and that, but the time that you actually spend with that child pouring into them, it means more. They'll be able to use that in life. When you actually pouring into them, raising them up and teaching them, thus saith the Lord, giving them the ins and outs about life, rather than just giving them what they want to have a good time, hey, they'll benefit from that. And it ain't about how much time you spend, but when you spend time, is it quality time? Teaching them who they are, how they supposed to carry themselves, what they supposed to look out for, how they supposed to serve the Lord, most important, how they supposed to carry themselves as an Israelite. It matters. It means a lot. That's what we got to come back to doing as men. We can't just keep pointing the finger, oh, they wicked, they don't want to do it. When we going to stand up and do what we supposed to do and get things back in order? Read 7.
7. Come down a little bit more. It says,
Hold on.
thank you, King. Thank you.
All right.
7. High levels of father's involvement are correlated with higher levels of sociability, confidence, and self-control in children. Children with involved fathers are less likely to act out in school or engage in risky behaviors in adolescence.
You see that? Because of that authoritative, I say the spirit, authoritative spirit, that disciplinary spirit that the father carries. When they are inactive or active in the child's life, it breeds high level of social skills, confidence, and self-control in the child when they are involved. All right, read 8.
8. Children with actively involved fathers are 43% more likely to earn A's in school and 33% less likely to repeat a grade than those without engaged dads.
You see how important it is for the father to be engaged, involved. I myself had to learn these things. Still learning. Striving each and every day to build. Seeing these things unfold and unlock right before my eyes. So these things they true, even though they coming from a worldly standpoint. Then once again, the numbers don't lie. 9.
Father engagement reduces the frequency of behavioral problems in boys, while also decreasing delinquency and economic disadvantage in low-income families.
See that? Father engagement gonna reduce them boys out there running them up, trying to buck up on everybody. Because the father gonna put them in check in the household. Straighten them out in the household. But when the father's not there, that child, that boy, 9 times out of 10, he gonna grow up to be bigger than his mom, and he gonna start smelling himself. He gonna start bucking up on the mom, thinking he can do whatever the hell he want to. Then go out in the street, either get put down by somebody else, shot, stabbed, locked up. But when that father's involved and actually put hands on him and put him in his place, he gonna iron out them wrinkles. So when he go out there, he know how to handle business or to conduct himself. 10 be the last one. Then we'll move on.
If
10.
I can, real quick, may I say something?
Go ahead, King.
When you look at like this society, right? As a man in a society, like a lot of times you have to learn by yourself if you don't have your father in the household, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you learn it by yourself, guess what? You don't have a man to teach you. You just gotta come out here and go out every day and try to see if you can learn. But if you have a father's gonna care for his son. A father is gonna be there to correct him, tell him when he's wrong or right. So therefore, he's set up with a stronger foundation than a lot of other men. You see what I'm saying? And you can actually see this, especially when you was in school. You can see who didn't have a father at home and who did have a father at home by the way they act a lot of times. Not that that's it's going to be every time like that, but it's a very high percentage. And you can tell when somebody's father was in their home, you know, by the way they act. A lot of ones who didn't have them, they would be in what you call that? They would get suspended, be in all kind of different boarding schools.
Mm-hmm.
Sent to damn what they call it?
Alternative
Juvenile.
school.
Alternative school. Thank you. They call it STAR down here, but they alternative school, and a lot of damn what they call daddy issues. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like that's how important the father is in the household. Just his presence alone and him being able to be that masculine figure in the house, it changes a lot of things, man.
That's right. So as the head, we got to step up and do what we are commanded to do. Lead. That's why the father also say, be a father to the fatherless. Because we realize in this society that this system is pressed hard against us as a nation. So we knowing that the fathers are locked up or the fathers are dead. You know what I'm saying? So we, knowing this truth, we got to step up and be fathers to the fatherless as well. You know what I'm saying? Just like in the world, they say it takes a village to raise a child. All it needs is really, from the stats, just the men to step up and take hold of the young buck and pour into him. Somebody to give a damn and lead him in the right direction. He'll follow and do what's required of him. And that goes for the sister as well. You know, but because the head is not in the household or he in the household and he ain't doing his job, society is continually to spiral out of control. So we got to continue to step up. I'm gonna show one more article, and then I get this last scripture.
Did you want me to read 10?
I had already clicked it off.
Wait.
I got it. Let me see. I think this is it. Let me see. All right. Show some more stats just from the father being not in the household. All right.
It's Stats on fatherlessness in America, all races. 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes. U.S. Department of Health census, 5 times the average.
You see that suicide rate is up through the roof, 5 times over the average without the father in the house. 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes. Read on.
70% of youths in state-operated institutions come from the fatherless homes, 9 times the average. U.S. Department of Justice, September 1988.
That was in 88. So imagine what it is now. That was in 1988. Read on.
71% of all high school dropouts come from fatherless homes, 9 times the average. National Principals Association report.
So these numbers, they ain't just making this up. These folks are doing extensive research, a diligent search. Constantly. They study everything, whether you know it or not. Your enemy studies everything. Studies everything. And he letting you know through the numbers where we at as a whole. High school dropout, 71% because of fatherless homes. Read on.
80% of rapists, excuse me, 80% of rapists with anger problems come from fatherless homes, 14 times the average. Justice and Behavior, Volume 14, page 403 through 26.
80% of rapists come from fatherless homes. Read on.
85% of all youths in prison come from fatherless homes, 20 times the average. 14 County, Georgia, Texas Department of Correction.
Now we showing you these percentages, these numbers, these facts to show you that your enemy is constantly studying you. And if he knows by not having the father in the house does all this, what do you think he's gonna do? Try to put the father back in the house, or find more ways to keep him out of the house? And men, take this seriously. Don't take it lightly. Don't just shake your head and say, damn. Take that seriously right there, what you read and hearing. That your enemy is constantly plotting on you to keep your family and your nation destroyed by keeping you out of the picture, by teaching you, hey, go out there and be a player. You know, get your rocks off, sow your royal oats. Go out there and do what you want to do. Hey, don't take up your responsibilities. Hey, just pay the bills, man. Hey, you good. You know, just pay the bills. Nah, be a father, be a head in your household and lead your household. So that this does not, so that we stop becoming these type of statistics. Read 85 of children who show behavior disorders come from fatherless homes, 85%. 90% of homeless and runaway children are from fatherless households, 32 over the average. Those are staggering numbers from all different types of time frames, different decades. But nonetheless, they ain't getting no better. Main reason because we as a nation are not getting any better, because we don't want to stand up and lead and be the head that we are required to be. You know, let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 10, verse 33. And that'll be my last script. 2nd Ezra chapter 10, verse 33.
Hey, brother, real quick, you look at it. So important to have a father in the household. This is why the so-called Esau, he makes it his number one. Take the father out the household, right? Even from birth, they tell you the father should have like skin-to-skin contact with the baby when they're born. You know, like babies understand their father's voice, their mother's voice. You know, it's a lot that goes into it, and really, without that father, there is like the baby is gonna be always missing something. Even as a child, as a youth, as a newborn, that baby will never feel complete.
That's right.
That feeling carries on from that point on all the way into our adulthood. And we always wondering like, something missing. Why is this missing? Why is that missing? And then the ones who do have fathers in the household, we take for granted. So as a nation, we gotta, we gotta step that up.
That's right. Can't take that thing lightly. Can't take it for joke or for play. Knowing what's going on. Whatever time we get with the children, we got to pour into them. We can't just walk by them. Oh, well, it's good to see. I ain't seen you in a while. No, take every opportunity that you get to build, because your enemy is constantly gonna be at their ass. Even when you in the household with them, think about how much you got to fight against the enemy on a daily basis. The child in your household, but surrounding that household, when they leave or when they wake up, they got the TV, the influence in the neighborhood, the cell phones, when they go to school, the music, the things that they see in the magazines and the media, all those things surrounding, and the negative influence that's in the neighborhood that you have to deal with being a father in the household with a child on a day-to-day basis. All those years until they actually get grown and they out the door on their own. You got to preach and teach against the world for all the years that they in your household. So imagine when you're not in the household, or when they get grown and they got to go out there and fight it on their own. Imagine how much of a battle and a fight that we are up against to try to keep our children in a righteous mindset. And we think just because we say hi and bye and give them what they want, that's good enough. No, it ain't good enough.
Right.
Just going to school, getting A's
brother,
and
you
B's.
made an excellent point.
Go ahead, King.
Salakia, I think it's like a delay in the call. Salakia for that. But I was about to say, you made a great point earlier when you were saying the child is not going to remember how many bills paid, and I paid this much child support, and I had bought you this and that. They're gonna remember what you taught them. They're gonna remember the things the time that you spent with them. You can buy them a damn new car, but they're gonna remember that time that you spent with them sitting in the park that one day, right? Teaching them different things, teaching them the ways of life. That's what they're gonna remember.
Right.
Just like even us, even now, we all remember that one teacher who used to talk around with us and teach us certain things. This was a teacher. I wonder why? Because she taught you something. She spent time with you. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I had.
That's a good point, King. It all makes a difference. It ain't about how many hours or what you buy them. It's about what you teach them and how you bring them up. We supposed to be warriors in the Lord's army. Hey, you're supposed to be breeding your child to be a warrior as well. Just like the scriptures say in Sirach, paraphrasing. But when you leave, it's like you never left. It's like you left an avenger behind. Somebody to keep avenging and fighting against your enemy. Fighting for your cause that you instilled in them. That's how it's supposed to be, But being in this society, in this world, we all lost that spirit, and now we all just about pay bill spirit. That's it. Trying to keep from drowning spirit. We don't want to learn how to swim better and float. Take and serve the Lord where we can just float on the water. You know what I'm saying? We trying to keep our head above the water, keep from drowning. You know what I'm saying? That's the world we living in right now. But let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 10, verse 33.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 10 and verse 33. And he said unto me, stand up manfully, and I will advise thee.
You see that in everything that we doing, like, we got to remember what the Lord say. When we run into them blockades, to them barricades, when we run to the point where our back is against the wall, we don't know which way to go. We at that crossroad. We got to stand up manfully. We can't tuck our tail. We can't hold our head down. We got to stand up manfully. And the Lord said he will advise us. Advise thee. Stand up manfully. Stand up like a man. Handle your business. Yeah, everything ain't always going to go your way. It ain't supposed to. Because everything went the way it was supposed to every day, it'd be a pretty damn boring life to live. So when you face with opposition or tribulation, you got to still stand and head that thing on like a man, trusting in the Lord, keeping his commandments, being the head that you are created to be. Because, like I said, whenever a situation arises, the body going to look at the head. And if the head ain't ready to make moves, that body going to fall. Or going to run slap into the wall, you know?
All right.
So if you're not willing to stand up as our forefathers did, and not according to the weak and effeminate ways of this world, don't expect change to happen. And it don't matter if you're running to another household, to another state, to another woman. Get it in order, you know? And even as the world continues to crumble, do one thing, keep your house in order. And I'm going to show this little video before we get out of here.
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit of an anticlimax. Going last. I mean, we've had so many talented people here. We've had so many people do some amazing things. I don't have that many skills. I can't create different sounds with my voice by pressing different buttons. But
that's as loud as I
can do is poetry. I'm a spoken word artist. Last year was a bit difficult for me, if I'm honest, because I was told to talk about democracy. I'm not too engaged when it comes to political terms like that. And it's difficult to find words that rhyme with democracy, actually. Like, you have, it's very difficult. Democracy, biography, a couple other ographies which they wouldn't approve of in Parliament. You guys I hope I don't get in trouble for that. So this year they said I could discuss and talk about leadership. And I realized that I actually don't know that much about leadership as a whole. So everything I'm going to say is my opinion on what I think leadership should be. It will be relevant to some of you, may not be relevant to some of you, but please don't come up to me afterwards and give me political statements and manifestos and tell me what's right and what's wrong. I'm just stating my opinion. That's what I do as an artist. It's called Follow the Leader. Oh, and I have to explain, spoken word is basically like poetry, yeah. Or if you want to sound more cool, it's more like rap. Now, I don't know that much about leadership. All I know is that as kids, we all wanted to be the Red Ranger. Now, if you don't understand the significance of being the Red Ranger, I feel very sorry for you. Because it means you were either born way too late to appreciate the birth of one of the world's greatest legacies, or you were born way too early to be born in one of the world's greatest centuries. For those of you who don't know, being the Red Ranger meant that you were part of an esteemed group of individuals known as the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Now, as kids, we wanted to be the Red Ranger, because not being the Red Ranger not only meant that you got the biggest sword, the biggest Zord, and got to scream, "It's morphin' time," before every fight, but it also meant that you were the leader of the group. Now, as kids, we all wanted to be the Red Ranger. Well, actually, I wanted to be the Black Ranger for obvious reasons, but can we agree that as kids, we were unafraid to be Power Rangers, heroes, leaders? As a matter of fact, we were eager to be anything more than meager. So can we then agree that mediocrity, being average, is something that we learn? Not learn, but are taught. Maybe Socrates can expand more on this thought. What is leadership? He defined it as the challenge to be something more than average. Something we were willing to accept before life put us in the deep end. Because as we get older, it then starts to deepen. Most of us only want to be front in line to the pub or the club on the weekend. But is that our fault? Because from when I was young, I was told Sully, one day you're going to have to lead your own life. But this was then preceded by me being taught how to follow. In school, I learned to follow the rules. The first game we ever learned to play was follow the leader. I always had to make sure I understood the following. My boss always made sure I followed up on everything. My parents taught me how to follow the system, follow religion, follow tradition. And then they said they'll kill me if I ever followed in their footsteps. But the severity of this never really hit home, because even in my favorite TV show, Dorothy told me to follow the yellow brick road. Ironically, one thing I was never taught to follow was my heart. It was like follow fashion before you follow passion. So you can understand why my mum seemed bitter when I told her I wanted to be in a band, especially as I explained that I wanted to be the lead singer. Also, I couldn't sing. But the world doesn't need new leaders, because leaders come and go like common colds. If you ask me, the next leader should be a community guided by a common goal, one which everyone can contribute, young and old. I never understood why you had to be 18 to vote, because that's way too late to clean up the mess made by the previous generation. The world doesn't need new leaders. The world needs new ideas. Ideas that tell me I don't have to walk like that or talk like this, that me and you can be different. Because listen to this, and this is wisdom. People die, but ideas live forever. Because great ideas are all the greatest leaders ever were. If you look at it, Abraham Lincoln, equality. Julius Caesar, strength. Mahatma Gandhi, peace. Nelson Mandela, unity. Princess Diana, empathy. Mother Teresa, compassion. And I'm not saying I agree with all their actions, but I agree with their ideas. Maybe the scariest reality is that we are all leaders, because we all have ideas, but somewhere in between our adult lives and 9 to 5s, we're pacified to believe that we're satisfied.
Damn.
When deep down inside you, there's a Red Ranger, fully suited up, ready to swing at whatever life throws up. Don't get distracted by the noise the world throws to blind you, because deep down, there is a voice inside you, wondering why you haven't spoken to it in years. Because you know what I realize? We don't always get wiser with age. Society just breeds us to forget or remember things that we already knew were true in the first place. There's not that much more I need to say. Just that you be red tomorrow and let me be green today. And we can change the world either way, as long as we're unafraid to make mistakes and keen to play. And then you can see, as long as we stop looking for others to lead the way, that creating a better world is a piece of cake. We don't need leaders, we need ideas. Thank you very much.
Now, I ain't gonna agree with the last part he said, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, the brother was on point with what he was talking about, as far as we all got that leadership quality inside of us, you know, and we were created to do such, you know what I'm saying? As men, we are supposed to be that so-called Red Ranger, you know what I'm saying? Lead the squad, lead the family, lead the nation. We're supposed to conduct ourselves in that manner, you know what I'm saying? Now, he's saying we don't need new leaders. We just need the men that were created to be leaders to stand up and be leaders, be that head we were created to be, you know. Now, to change the world, it only depends on us, because when we teach our people who they are and we stand up and we hold our people accountable, that's how we change, because this world will be over with. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is what's next, you know. So reform, restore, and lead your nation. You know what I'm saying? As heads of the body or your people, come back to doing what you are supposed to be doing. What's commanded of you as a head. As the head goes, so does the body. And on that note, y'all brothers got anything y'all want to add before I close out?
Yeah, man. I like to bring something out if y'all can hear me. If I'm y'all am I picking up?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, cool. All right. Now I'm gonna go to the book of 2 Corinthians right fast. Let me go there. Book of 2 Corinthians. Book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. 2 Corinthians chapter 6. 2 Corinthians chapter 6. All right, verse 14. And that reads, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? Okay. Now I'm gonna remember that scripture, and I'm gonna go to Matthew. Book of Matthew, chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7, verse 24. Book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 24. And it says, therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which build his house upon a rock. Now we supposed to lead our houses, as the brother was bringing out. Supposed to lead our houses, but we want to build our houses on a rock. And also, like we just read in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14, be ye not unequally yoked, to bring wickedness and evil peoples into that house. Don't be yoked up with somebody who you go bring into your house. So you want to build your house solid on solid ground, and you don't want to be yoked up with somebody who's wicked anyway, because if you gonna build your house on solid ground, you ain't gonna get linked up with nobody who wicked to begin with. You ain't gonna link up with nobody who wicked if you building your house on a rock. So what I'm talking about, what I'm saying is that I'm tell you what I was told. My father told me. He said, you're gonna lose a few. You're gonna lose some troops. You're gonna lose some of your troops there, son. You ain't gonna everybody ain't gonna. He said, you're gonna lose some troops. You're gonna lose some men. You're gonna lose some. You're gonna lose a few. You ain't gonna lose them all. You're gonna lose a few. Because we done got unequally yoked and built our house on rickety, soft foundation ground. Then we come into the truth, and the house leaning, and your children, hey, things is in disarray. But we waking up to the truth, and we just got to have the mindset, well, might lose a few. Hey, everybody, you operating in the dark, you painting the wall in the dark, you building something that somebody click the lights on, and you look around at what you done did. You might lose a few. You might lose some. So you got to be tough. You got to be tough enough to lose what you hold dear. You might have to just be tough enough to lose. Everybody ain't gonna, hey, this what you did, hey, you might not be able to correct it. You might not be able to fix it. But you can't let that stop you. You got to keep on pressing forward. And everybody that you want to see make it, they ain't all gonna make it. Some of your children may not make it out of their 20s, but you can't let that stop you. Okay? You can't let that stop you. All your children might die in their 20s. You might have to get a new batch of children. You might have to get a new wife who ain't unequally yoked. You might have to start all over again, but you can't let that depress you. You gotta be tough. You gotta be hard. The only thing you could do is bring the word to our people out there, whether you know them, whether you've seen them before, whether you never seen them before. Bring that word of the Most High to them. Whether you never seen them before in your day of your life, whoever these people are, don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Bring the word of the Most High to them. Maybe you can help them enough to where they can go out and start their family right, and you can help them to build their house on solid ground, to where they ain't unequally yoked, to where they family would be the ones that these curses won't be destroying so mercilessly. You can help them do that. And those young folks that you help, their children might be older than your children. You start your new family. You just got to be tough. You got to be strong. Hey, you just got to be tough in this thing. That you got to it just ain't gonna make it. You can't let that get you down too far. Of course, it's gonna hurt. Think that. Can't let that get you down. You know, we got to know that there's a greater thing waiting for us. We just got to keep pressing forward, because in our Father's house there's many mansions. You might not get this. You might not get this house in too much order like you wanted to, but you know there's the house you're going to. Hey, there's many mansions. I bet you that one be in order. I bet you that one be in order. Just keep pushing forward, brothers and sisters out there. Keep on pushing forward, man. Brothers and sisters.
We got to keep on rolling.
You got to keep on. You look bad. You look bad. Because in this truth, we understand that when this word go. See, now this is another thing too. I don't have the scripture in front of me, but we already know that a lot of our people who have things that look like they got it together, they don't want to bring this word into their family, into their house, because this word will tear up your shit. And you're gonna be looking like somebody who ain't never had it together. Cause this word go turn your family against you, and it's gonna break your family apart. It's gonna do it. But you gotta be tough too. Be tough and strong and bring that word into your family, knowing that it might destroy your family and break you all apart. See, because had you built your house on a solid foundation, it wouldn't have happened like that. That word would not break y'all, destroy y'all. It wouldn't break y'all apart. So you go right back to that foundation again. Build your house on that rock, on that solid foundation, and the word of the Most High ain't gonna destroy your family. And those who waking up to this truth, to flick the lights on and look at this messed up painted wall that you did, and the bricks halfway falling apart that you did, maybe you can fix that. Maybe you can't. But now you see what you're doing now, and you can do better this time. So that's all I got for now, my brothers.
All praise, King.
Yes, sir.
Anybody got anything they want to bring out before we close out? All right. Perfect example of what you were talking about, brother, is how you gotta be strong like the brother Job. You know, how you saying, hey, it might not make it out, but brother Job, stood tall, he stood boldly through it all. Lost family, he regained it in the end. So that's the mindset we got to have. Everything that we need is in the word. The scriptures, the testimony, the spirit of the word is there to uplift us and uphold us. But nonetheless, being the head as to who we are, you know, we have to lead. And as the head, so will the body follow. But on that note, I'm your brother Ananias.
Brother Ezekiel.
Brother Yakub.
Brother Abaya.
Brother Benaiah.
We are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And as always, we got to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai for the abundance of all things. We appreciate you, brothers and sisters, tuning in. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and make sure you share this with your brothers and sisters. The message got to go out. We got to teach and raise up our nation. Reform, restore, and rebuild. But on that note, we say shalom, shalom, peace, and greetings to you all, and we out.
Shalom.